Holy smokes, guys. It is the meat section, day 190. I have titled this, God Speaks from the Cloud. And I think that's a fitting title. We could speak a lot of things about this, but the truth is, Miss Donna kind of brought my attention to clouds. Multiple times God has spoken from the clouds, and I just look at the clouds and I think of God, and I just am filled up. I don't know how else to describe it. So this is a pretty cool lesson that we get to have today. A lot of things to think about regarding what's taking place here, and a lot of things to remember about basically what has already happened. We have to remember that they've most likely fasted for 6 days, give or take, right? And Peter, James, and John are going up on a mountain with Jesus. I think it was Mount Tabor, but I could be wrong, okay? And they go up there to pray. And this has me thinking totally different about prayer. And they go up there to pray, and then you have this word transfiguration. Now, I have looked up that word transfigured, transfigures, transfiguration. It's nowhere else in all of the Bible, except here. So I used AI and I searched transfiguration to see what AI had to say about it. And it really only spoke of Jesus. The other word for it was metamorphosis, is how humans try to use it to describe something that, or someone that has completely changed their appearance. And we're not talking plastic surgery type stuff, okay? We're talking miraculous in this extent. So how about that? We use a word, and people know a word that is only truly used to describe this moment in the life of Jesus. I mean, that's amazing. That's amazing to me. So I'm stuck on this word. I've been stuck on this word since I read it yesterday. Another interesting part is that in these three Gospels, Luke being a Gentile, uses the word master when Peter speaks to Jesus. Matthew uses the word Lord when Peter speaks to Jesus. Mark uses the word rabbi when he's speaking to Jesus. And this has me very curious. So I see no reason why we wouldn't go kind of look into these. I have not yet. I was kind of saving it up. So Luke 9:33. And you guys can just turn there with me. Luke 9:33. There's the word master, concordance, and I just want to see what these words are. Because master, rabbi, and Lord, around the Lord's Supper, when it's recorded, we have people calling Jesus Lord, except for Judas, who calls him rabbi. And that's in the same scripture, the same verses. So this has me very interested. Of course, this isn't working, which is about expected, right? Isn't that the way things go? Which is cool. We'll try it again. Just because... all right, here we go. Here, concordance. And while it's loading, we will we'll start reading. The one that was chosen in this, when we're doing this reading, is rabbi, but it could be rabbi, master, or Lord. And we will get to the bottom of this once this starts working. as the men were parting from him, okay, so as Moses and Elijah were leaving, after they were discussing the plan of salvation, which that also is crazy to me. This is what they're talking about. It's what they're praying about. I can't imagine how Jesus felt about this. But that's what they're talking about, and they're leaving. So Peter calls out to Jesus, Rabbi, Lord, Master, it is good that we are here. In other words, this is awesome. I can't believe we're seeing this. If you wish, let us make 3 tents. One for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. Not knowing what he said. For he did not know what to say. They were terrified. So there's Peter, James, and John. Who knows what's going on in their minds? They just witness seeing Jesus, Moses, and Elijah. These are their heroes. Jesus is new to the scene for them. Moses and Elijah, that's their entire law. Elijah was the prophet who prophesied about Jesus. They're all together. How is this possible? The fulfillment of the law, the fulfillment of the prophecy, the one who gave us the law, the one who gave us the prophecy, and Jesus. And Peter says, where could we possibly be that is better than this? We're on the mountaintop. We should make 3 tabernacles, 3 tents. We should stay here. There's no reason for us to go back to the messy world. There's no reason for us to leave this place. We should stay here and worship. We see you transfigured. You're so bright we can't even look at you. Something amazing is happening. We don't ever want to go back to where we were. This is where we want to be. This is as closest to heaven as we've ever been. We don't want to leave this place. So let's make some tabernacles and let's stay here. Think about your greatest moment. Maybe it was right when you came out of the waters of baptism. Think about the freedom that was felt there, the closeness to God that you had there. Think about times where you've repented or times that you've just sat in incredible prayer and you could not feel closer to God, or served or loved in a way. I don't know what it is. Peter speaks what we're all thinking. On top of that, they're absolutely terrified. So it's only natural for this to come out of his mouth. It says, as he was saying these things, a bright cloud came and overshadowed them. How does a bright cloud overshadow? I've seen dark clouds overshadow. But a bright cloud came and overshadowed them. This bright cloud was in the midst of them. And it says, and they were afraid as they entered the cloud. They're in this cloud that is overshadowing them that is also bright. And then a voice comes from the cloud. Just like that voice came from the cloud when Jesus came out of the waters of baptism. Just like Moses receiving the law from God. It wasn't Moses' law, it's God's law. It wasn't Elijah's prophecy, it was God's. And all of it's about Jesus. He's here. Why would we want to go anywhere else? This is what the voice said. This is my beloved son. Not Moses and Elijah, they're gone. The cloud is speaking of Jesus. This is my beloved Son. Beloved. I love my Son. He is my chosen one, the anointed one, the Christ. Right? That's who Jesus is. The anointed one. The Christ. That's who Peter proclaimed that he was as well. And then he says, with whom I am well pleased. I am well pleased with my beloved Son who I chose. And then there's this pause. And then the voice says, listen to him. Listen to him. This message is no different now than it was then. Jesus is the Son of God. There are eyewitnesses that saw what's taking place. 3 of them. And they all identify it and they describe it a little bit differently because all 3 of them were there. It's real and it happened. And God says, this is my beloved Son, the anointed one, who I am well pleased. Listen to him. As if they weren't, but he's reminding them, and they write it down for us. When the disciples heard this, they fell on their faces and were terrified, as if they weren't already terrified. Do you know what it feels like to be terrified? The only thing I can think of is one time lightning struck really, really close to us. And the power and the light from that terrified me. But Jesus came, and it specifically says he touched them. Imagine the hand of Jesus resting on you. Imagine the peace that would come from that hand. And he said, rise, have no fear. And suddenly, they lifted up their eyes. They no longer saw anyone with them but Jesus only. That was it. That was the mountaintop moment. Maybe the greatest moment of their lives to this point. And then what? The next line says, as they were coming down from the mountain. Did they stay there and make tents? They did not. Did Moses and Elijah stay there? They did not. Did Jesus stay transfigured? He did not. Did God stay in that cloud and continue to speak? He did not. The lesson was given. And here's the lesson. This is exactly who he says he is. This is my Son. I love him. He's been anointed by me, chosen by me. I am so pleased with him. You've got to listen to what he says. Next thing they're doing is they're going down the mountain, and I can just imagine the disciples being like, why? Do you know what's waiting for us down there? It can't be good. This is the only place that I've been in a while that's been good. Jesus commanded them this: tell no one the vision until the Son of Man is raised from the dead. Again, they're not understanding Jesus being raised from the dead, but they can understand the words, do not tell anyone. Keep this to yourself. It's important. Perhaps they were the only 3 that were chosen because they were the only ones Jesus knew wouldn't say anything or were capable of not saying anything. I don't know. It says, so they kept the matter to themselves, questioning what this rising from the dead might mean, because they didn't understand it. He said it plainly, but they didn't understand. How could they possibly understand Jesus dying? This is not possible. And the disciples asked him, as they're on their way down the mountain, Why do the scribes say that first Elijah must come before the Messiah comes? Why do the scribes say this? If you're here, where's Elijah? And he said to them, Elijah does come first to restore all things. And how is it written of the Son of Man that he should suffer many things and be treated with contempt? Jesus answers their question and asks them a question. He said, Elijah first comes and he restores all things. He prepares, he gets everything ready. Right? Make ways the paths of the Lord. The high places low, the low places high. Prepare the way of the Lord. Then he asked them a question. How is it written of the Son of Man, of me, that he should suffer many things and be treated with contempt? He's again echoing what he just said before they went up on the mountain 6 or 8 days ago. I'll suffer. I'll be rejected by the elders, the chief priests, the scribes. They will kill me. He says, but I tell you that Elijah has already come, and they did not recognize him, but did to him whatever they pleased, as it is written of him. This was his destiny from the beginning. So also the Son of Man will certainly suffer at their hands. Go back and read about Elijah and what they did to him, how he was treated, and yet he's held in such high esteem. It says, then the disciples understood that he was speaking to them of John the Baptist. Now, this is a super, super meaty section, and I am trying to really cut it short because I want you guys to go read and look and see what you can find out. My concordance is still not working, and I have plenty of internet. So that must mean that it's important, and we're going to have to look at it separately and on our own, and that's fine. Go dig. Go read these 3 verses. Go read the words that are used for Jesus when it's one of them, Master, one of them, Lord, one of them, Rabbi, and see what comes up. But out of this lesson, there's really no physical. It's all spiritual. All of it. And that's pretty incredible. When you look at the clouds, think of God. When you think of Jesus, think of the fulfillment of the promises of God that was given to Moses and the prophecy from Elijah given from God. When you think about your mountaintop moments, remember that those moments are there to fill you up, not to keep you there. Go back down the mountain into the valley where you can share how good God is, how amazing Jesus is. You can go love people like they've never been loved before. Love is a greater miracle than anything you could perform in a person's life. All right, I'm sure there's a whole lot more I need to say, but I'm not going to. I love you guys, and I hope you have a great day.